we've been talking about the lovely United States of America and how we're all turning into a socialist country, communism. And one thing people don't understand is that about communism and socialism, they think, oh, well, everybody they got this Green New Deal. AOC wants this Green New Deal. It's going to cost $100 billion or $1 trillion, some ridiculous amount. And they say, oh, well, we'll give everybody a living wage. And that way you don't have to worry. You can work if you want to. If you don't, you stay at home. If you work, you're going to be guaranteed a certain amount of money regardless of what job you do. And so then everybody will have enough money to do what they want to do and everybody be happy. And what they don't understand in all this is that capitalism gives you the incentive to get a higher paying job. So we're talking about dentists and doctors. No one is going to want to be a dentist or a doctor, but think about it. If I can get a job as, let's just say, security guard for like amusement park, let's say, and that pays me whatever let's say the living wage is set at $50,000 a year. So if I'm going to be a security guard at an amusement park for $50,000 a year, or I'm going to be a waiter for $50,000 a year, or I'm going to work at Walmart for $50,000 a year, whatever I do is $50,000 a year, I'll do one of those jobs instead of becoming a doctor. Because to become a doctor, I got to go to school for 8 years, how many ever years it is, and learn all this stuff, and go through all this training, and it's a lot of work to become a doctor or a dentist and be able to clean people's teeth or to figure out how to operate on somebody's brain or take out, do a heart bypass surgery, something like that. And if I'm going to be paid $50,000 a year to do that, as opposed to $50,000 a year to work at Walmart, well, I'm going to work at Walmart because it's going to take a lot more work. You look at how lazy these kids are nowadays. They won't even go to school. And they go to school, they don't learn anything. And the media makes everybody so stupid. People aren't thinking for themselves. You look at how stupid everybody is, these generations growing up. You honestly think they are going to go to school for 8-10 years and learn how to be a doctor or a dentist when they have the same wage that as any other profession? There's no way they're going to do that. The whole system of skilled labor breaks down in communism. That's the problem. So that's why you'll see these communist countries, they stay in line for 2 hours to get a loaf of bread. Well, that's because nobody wants to work. If you're going to pay me to stay at home, I'll stay at home. Or if I do want to work and feel good about myself, where's the incentive for me to work hard to make good profit? If I've got my own small business, I got a bakery, that's a lot of hard work. But if the government's going to guarantee me a certain amount of money, and that's what I get, well, forget all that hard work. Why should I work hard for triple the wages? Because I can't get triple the wages. I get the same amount, so I'm just going to be lazy. The whole system of skilled labor and working hard is done away.
Well, I gotta say this. Eric and I were when we were talking about the so-called Green Deal. They need to pick another color because green is my favorite color. That's my birthstone. Emerald. It's green. Pick another color. Now they're making the color green sound bad.
Well,
they need to pick another color.
Red has always been associated with communism.
Well, yeah, why don't they pick the red deal? Or why not make it the black deal? Because black is usually, if you, Westerns, black, the man in the black suit is usually the bad guy, Why not call it the black deal? Why not call it the red deal? Anyway, the point is, my thing is,
she's a color commentator.
I'm a color commentator. The point is, when this so-called Green Deal comes around and they say, oh, everybody's going to get the same amount of money. All right, so if the person that sits on their butt and doesn't go to work, are they going to get the same amount of money as the person that's working? And if so, then nobody's going to work. Because why work when you can sit on your butt? Well, then, if it's really the person that sits on their butt gets a less amount than the person who works, well then, like Eric said, you know, if you're going to get paid, which I don't think, I think people would be doing good if they got $10,000 a year, let alone 20, 50. That's a bonus.
Well, it's got to be a living wage. So I figure 50,000 is a living wage.
Well, if the government's giving you your money, I mean your food, you don't need that much money because they give you your food and they pay for your electricity. So really, they don't need to give you that much money. But the thing is, okay, so if the government's going to have to admit that not everybody is going to get the same wage. You know, the people who sit on their butt gets one wage. The people who work get a higher wage. Well, the thing is, okay, if doesn't matter what you do, everybody gets the same amount, then I'm losing my train of thought.
It just takes away the incentive for you to work hard and for those skilled labor. That's the problem. If you've got a certain amount, you say if everybody gets a certain amount, if everybody gets $50,000 a year, no matter what they do, if they stay at home or they work, then everybody's going to stay at home. So then you say, okay, well, we'll give you $10,000 a year for staying at home and $50,000 a year for working. Okay, well, now a lot of people are going to work. But then if they just work at...
I remembered it. I got to stop it. I got to stop it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Because he knows...
I did it wrong.
No. I'm stopping you because I remember what I said.
Okay.
What I was going to say. And if I don't say it, I'll forget it again. Okay, my thing is... All right. So you get money, the Green New Deal thing. My thing is, how do we know really everybody's getting paid the same amount? Number one. Number two is, how do we know that the Democrats are not going to penalize everybody that's voted Republican with giving them less money? How are you going to know this? You're not going to know this. Nobody knows unless somebody tattles and says, I'll give you an example. Somebody near and dear to me, it's other than you, dear, my husband. She worked at a job for 25 years. In the last couple of years of her, at her job, that she worked for 25 years, the wife of the owner was getting a divorce from the owner. And for spite, she told the woman that she was getting paid less than everybody else in the office. Now, the woman was the one that did the majority of the work in the office. And she gave her documentation out of their books to show that yes, she was getting paid way less than everybody else. When she confronted the owner, of course, you know, the owner went not live it on her, but live it on the soon-to-be ex-wife. She said she was going to quit and go somewhere else. Because the entire time, she thought that the other people in the office, now the other people in the office did pretty much did the same thing, but when something broke in the office, the machines, anything wrong with the machines in the office, this one woman would go fix it. Well, she also was the one that did a lot of cleaning. You know, the others, you know, were prissy women. Now, when I say prissy women, I mean women that don't like to get their nails dirty. Well, prissy means more than that. But anyway, so how do you know that you're going to get paid the same as everybody else? That's my thing. How do you know that the Democrats are not going to penalize people that voted Republican? These are people that went against the Democrats. How do you not know that all the Republicans, because when you go to vote, they know if you voted Republican or Democrat or independent or whatever. How do you know they ain't going to penalize you and give you less than what a Democrat gets paid? That's just my thought. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, if you give everybody $50,000 a year, regardless of what you do, and they say, well, if you do that, everybody's going to stay at home. Okay, so then you give $10,000 a year for the people that are at home, and you give $50,000 a year for everybody else. Well, then a lot of people are going to work, but then no one is going to take the higher paying jobs, because there are no higher paying jobs. And I should say, they're not going to take the more skilled required jobs, the brain surgery type jobs. I mean, I don't want somebody doing a heart bypass surgery on me who is in the same boat I did and didn't have the training. They need to go to school for 8-10 years or how many ever years to figure out how to do this heart bypass surgery. Well, the people that are teaching at the school, they don't know what to teach them, because they haven't gone through the training either. Because why should they get all this learning? I mean, I went to school, I got a master's degree. It took, 6+ years to do this stuff. It was a lot of hard work. But I did it knowing that I'd get rewarded for it. But if I'm not going to get rewarded for it, I'm not going to spend 6 years in school, so I'm not even going to go to school. And even if you did go to school, you're not going to get the training, because the professors, in order to teach somebody for 6 years, they have to have even more training than that. Well, they're not going to bother to get all the training in school themselves to be able to teach the people who are going to school, because that's even more work than having the people going to school. And it's just, it will eliminate all these skilled jobs. So then you say, okay, well then if you're a brain surgeon, maybe you get $100,000 a year, and you start doing, and what you're doing, if you do that stuff, you're getting right back to where we are in the first place. That we have all these levels of pay. The more skilled the job is, the more you get paid. And that's the thing that the socialists and the communists don't understand. That's why I don't like the minimum wage laws. I think they need to completely get rid of minimum wage laws. I've heard of, I think San Francisco and Seattle have both done $15 an hour minimum wage law. Well, what that does right there is it gets people who are, if you make it like that, $15 an hour, let's say, then that means that the skilled jobs that aren't highly skilled, but they're just a little bit of skill, you eliminate people going to those. Because a lot of times for, let's say, to be an accountant, maybe you're not a degreed accountant, but say you get maybe 2 years of training in college, and then you know how to handle maybe invoices, or just, it's more like a data entry type thing, but you do understand basic accounting and how that works and bank transactions. That probably gets, $15 an hour, that type of level, more like accounts payable clerk type thing, probably gets $15 an hour, I'm guessing. Well, why am I going to do that? Why am I going to spend 2 years trying to figure out what debits and credits are and learning this computer system? I just go work at McDonald's and get $15 an hour. So by creating this minimum wage, you say, oh yeah, well, people can't live on that. Well, if you can't live on that wage, go somewhere else. And it's funny that in San Francisco, they implement that $15 an hour wage and minimum wage. And we just read an article this week that says that about 50% of the people that live in San Francisco plan to move out of the area within the next 5 years because they can't afford it. So even with a $15 minimum wage, they can't afford it because housing is too high. Oh, well, let's just raise the wage even more. What you're doing is, that's when you have a minimum wage, you're sort of making that socialism system already, implementing it. You can't stay at home and get it, but you go to work and get it, and you can go to work and get it whether you're the guy who's twirling a sign on a corner trying to get somebody to come to your business, or whether you're doing accounting work. Either way, you're going to make at least that money, the $15 an hour wage. And the higher you make that, the more likely people are able to live on it. So you think, oh, I'm good, I'm making sure everybody has a house and is able to live. But the more you do that, then you get rid of all those skills that are in the middle. For example, if McDonald's pays $7.50 an hour, and then you've got other jobs underneath that, above that, maybe you work at a car wash, you get $8 an hour. You work at, you're a janitor, maybe you get $9 an hour. You've got all these different skills, and then you get all the way up to accounts payable clerk at $15 an hour. Well, then you change the minimum wage to $15. So now all those skills that are higher than the $7.50 minimum wage, but lower than the $15, you essentially eliminate the incentive for anybody to get the skills necessary to get $9 an hour, $10 an hour, $11 an hour, $12 an hour, because you've guaranteed everybody's going to get 15. So when you do that now, the people aren't going to get the training necessary to become, I know those aren't rocket science type jobs, but still you eliminate the janitor and you eliminate the car wash person and you eliminate all these other ones, because why should I do that? That takes more skill, it's harder work, when I can get the same amount of wage because you made the minimum wage 15. So then if you make the minimum wage where everybody gets a fixed wage of $50,000 a year, now all of a sudden you just eliminate all skills. And everybody's just going to be stupid. They won't know how to do anything. Well, the government's got to put somebody in the brain surgeon job, even though they're only going to make $50,000 a year. Well, guess what kind of quality of work you get there? And that's why communist systems just dissolve they break down, because no one knows anything. There's no incentive to work. And if you do have an incentive to work by not paying you unless you show up to work, there's no skill. Why should I learn? My job, I got a degree and everything. Well, then you got to go to continuing education. All these professional organizations are out there. If you're a doctor, you're part of the AMA, and you got to get certain continuation credits and learn about the new technology coming out and learn all this stuff. And even though you've got your doctor degree, you keep learning that. If you've got a set livable wage for everybody, you eliminate all that. I'm not going to doctor school for 8-10 years. I'm not doing an internship. I'm not doing a residency. And I'm not learning the new stuff. And they say, oh, you have to. Well, you just sit in there. You just do what you got to do, and you don't learn it. You got to go through all these classes. We'll pay you $50,000 a year, and you go to college for 8 years, and then we'll pay you after that. Well, I just sit in there. Oh, you got to study and learn. Why? Why do I got to study and learn? If you don't, we'll get rid of you. Oh, okay. So then what are you going to do? Well, you still make $50,000 a year. The incentive is gone. So basically, a communism society eliminates all skills. Yeah, and like Lana says, well, what about if you pay somebody, here's the Democrat, they get more money, so then you pay them more. Well, again, you're getting away from the communist system. Now you're coming up, now it's an unfair system, it's not based on skills, but you see that today in politics, The person they like better gets more money. So, anyway, communism, socialism, it takes away all your skills in the name of fairness, and so then nothing ever gets done. So, you got a toothache, you want to get a filling? Sorry, no one knows how to do it. You got a heart attack, you need surgery? Sorry, you're just going to die. No one's there to do it for you. So, stick with capitalism.